Live from our studios at One Television Plaza, this is your Mid-Ohio Valley Morning Brief.
Good morning, Mid-Ohio Valley, and thanks for joining us today for your morning brief. I'm Emma Grace Myers.
And I'm Henry Grof, and this morning is at least going a little bit smoother.
It was still pretty chilly when I left my apartment this morning.
At least we don't have a layer of snow on the ground.
I had snow on my car when I got to my car this morning.
But was it on the roads?
No.
So a little bit better.
There wasn't really snow on the roads when I came in yesterday morning either.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
But it is going to get better.
It is, and if we ignore today, the rest of the week is pretty solid.
It is going to be pretty solid. And to be honest, I know a lot of people say, oh, you overhype the weather a lot. And you know what? You can't stop me.
You know,
I'm going to overhype Saturday. Take a look at Saturday.
A boy needs a little whimsy in his life.
I look at 60 degrees. Why would I not overhype Saturday?
Fair enough.
So get those plans ready to go because it is going to be wonderful that day. But for right now, we're still going to be dealing with some chilly weather this morning and especially temperatures into the upper 30s. Still some rain chances to keep an eye on for tonight and Thursday. A little bit of snow can mix in as well, but we're not expecting to see anything really sticking to the ground. But looking at today and tomorrow, still remaining breezy. We also do have that stretch of dry weather coming back for Friday and heading into the weekend. But for today, we'll look at some of those sustained winds coming back up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour, and especially into tonight, which means this afternoon will still feel like we're sitting in those 20s. We'll talk about those rain chances coming up and how long that stretch of dry weather will be lasting. But for now, let's take a look at those headlines this morning, Emma Grace.
Yeah, we have a couple of school stories, I suppose, today. And our first one is taking us out to Marietta because their local school district is recognizing students and staff who go above and beyond. Marietta City Schools handed out its Focus and Fierce Awards for February, honoring 4 students and 2 staff members across the district. The award goes to those who lead with integrity and give their best in the classroom and community. Peyton White was nominated from Marietta High School to receive this award. Waite says she's honored to be considered.
It means a lot that what I've done is recognized and what I'm trying to do is recognized, so it feels very good.
The full story, including more on the staff winners, can be found at WTAP.com. But speaking of honoring teachers and students, I get to go do something fun today.
Yeah, you get to do the Golden Apple today.
I do. I won't say where I'm heading out to.
Gonna have to wait until this evening to find out.
Yeah, tonight at 6, you'll get to see who is February's Golden Apple. And I
guess the only ones being spoiled is gonna be the actual school because they'll know when they get called to that
the full assembly.
Every kid is sitting in the bleachers and they're like, I wonder what this is for.
I know, and then as soon as they see
you or maybe other people.
Julia
as well. They'll know what it is.
It's a lot more stressful when I have to talk to high schoolers. Like elementary school students, they're just excited to be there. But every time I've had to go to a high school,
What about middle schoolers?
They don't really bother me as much. I feel like it's because I'm close enough in age to high schoolers where I'm like, how are you even taking me seriously? I don't even take me seriously.
That's a good way to put it.
I'm like, I don't look that much older than them. Who is letting me do this?
Especially the seniors.
Especially the seniors. I'm like, what, 4 years older than them?
I thought a little bit older than that. We don't need to talk about age right now.
But I'm always stressed out when it's a high school because I'm like, I feel like they're judging me for not being cool anymore.
You feel like I don't know, like an old lady trying to hype up everybody.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying really hard to be hip and cool.
The aunt at the family dinner trying to be all hip and cool.
That's what I feel like going to high schools.
Finding different ways to put it. Well, at least let's talk about some good news because, of course, yesterday we had some snow, and after more cold temperatures and snow hit the Middle Ohio Valley this past weekend, transportation officials say they're working around the clock to still keep those roads clear and safe for drivers. West Virginia Division of Highways District 3 Manager Michael Daly says crews started pre-treating roads on Sunday with salt brine and beet juice, which helps with de-icing at below freezing temperatures. Daly says crews had focused on clearing main roads and expressways and responding to refreezing in Washington County. Ohio Department of Transportation Administrator Rick Venham says workers checked equipment for issues in advance of the snow. Since Sunday, Venham says crews have been on the roads continuously to respond to accumulating snow. Officials from both agencies have urged drivers to accommodate plows and other work vehicles.
Just give us plenty of room. Anytime we have a larger snow event, we've got to get out into the intersections and clean them up. So just pay attention to our work zones and help us out.
One thing we stick with is, giving us don't crowd the plow, give our guys a lot of room to work out there. I've really appreciated the traffic this winter with some of the bigger events and stuff. People took the idea and stayed home and kept the roads clear, so it allowed us to do our job out there.
And officials also encourage people to drive slowly and keep on the lookout for any ice along their way to work or school because it's still below freezing this morning, and so still some icy spots may redevelop.
Yeah, especially we're supposed to get rain tonight.
Some showers overnight, but luckily temperatures are going to remain above freezing for tomorrow morning, so it shouldn't be an issue for Wednesday morning's commute.
We can hope. I've already had quite a few slip and slides on ice outside of my apartment and outside of the station. So
we really need spring
fun.
to try to stick around this time.
We can hope. We can cross our fingers, say a prayer. But let's talk about our last story. A Parkersburg school held an event on Monday evening to help families pay for private education. Parkersburg Catholic High School hosted an open house welcoming families for tours of the building. Representatives from the West Virginia State Treasurer's Office were also there to explain the Hope Scholarship. The program gives eligible students in grades K through 12 more than $5,400 towards private school tuition. School Administrator Tara Nelson says the event was meant to get families ready before the application window opens next month.
We don't want money to ever be the only reason someone couldn't come here. If they feel that this is where their child should be, we want to help them figure out how to make that possible for them.
The Hope Scholarship application opens up on March 2nd.
I still remember in high school when we did like a little thing where when I was in middle school, you go to the high school to see, what is it going to be like when you go from middle to high school?
How did that go for you?
At first, when I was in middle school getting ready for high school, it felt a little daunting because you go from I'd say a regular, I don't know the best way to describe the size of all of the middle schools where I was from, because then you take 3 middle schools and you combine them into one high school, and our high school was ginormous. It felt overwhelming.
I'm sure it did.
Because they say, you have like 5 minutes to get between classes. And sometimes that felt a little daunting when you went from one side of the school on the first floor to the other side of the school on the second floor. You went, how am I supposed to get around a huge crowd of other students in under 5 minutes?
Yeah. It's so hard because I obviously went to private school, so my classes were tiny, and my school was small, and we were a K through, where I went to middle and high school, we were a K through 12 school, and so at my age, like when I was an 8th grader thinking about going to high school, I was already playing on varsity sports teams with seniors because you had eligibility starting as an 8th grader. So I was like, it's not scary. I know them. I play sports with them. I'm fine. So I feel like that's something that I didn't really experience. I
always have a hard time trying to describe how big my high school was, because I know Parkersburg High School is pretty sizable, but the high school I went to is larger than that.
Yeah, I think we determined earlier that your graduating class was bigger than my K through 12 high school.
And then the school holds up to 5,000 students.
Yeah.
At once.
Which is crazy.
Yes.
Very different high school experiences for Henry and I. But let's move on to our national story for today, because there's a new potential buyer for the so-called graffiti towers in Los Angeles. The KPC Group has reached a deal with Lend-Lease, the original contractor on the project. These two parties filed a purchase agreement for $470 million in federal bankruptcy court, according to the Los Angeles Times. The deal could go through by April 9th if no higher qualified offer is made. The abandoned high-rise, officially called the Oceanwide Plaza Towers, became infamous when viral video showed the building covered with graffiti. The towers have also appeared in many social media stunts.
I don't know how I feel about graffiti, but of course there's some people who find the aesthetic very cool. And
yeah.
As an apartment building, who knows, it might sell very well to some people.
Yeah.
It's not my aesthetic.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. And I like the urban vibe, just
this
not for me.
This looks nice. It's not like overdone. There's not a lot of like other like graffiti designs trying to clash with what's already up there. That's why I think it's gonna go over well.
I've never seen that building before.
You've never seen that building?
I've never seen that building
I think
before.
we've talked about this in What's Trending like over a year ago, before you were here.
Okay. At least it's before I was here. I was like,
it was before your time.
That's thanks, Henry.
That's a good way to put it.
I'm gonna start bringing up how old you are. Keep this up.
We don't need to do that.
But speaking of what's trending, we do have more on what's trending coming up, including some loose cows on a highway and a very holy skeleton. Plus,
and then we're gonna find some holes in our cold weather too. It's gonna get warmer.
Now, here's your first alert weather update with meteorologist Henry Grof.
Well, we are going to be getting some warmer weather coming back for the second half of the week, but we still have to also get around some more shower chances going into tonight and especially into Thursday. But at least right now, high pressure building in to at least keep us on the quiet side for today, as that winter storm that impacted the Northeast moves out of the way. But here comes that next system that's going to be bringing us that chance of rain and a mix of snow for overnight tonight. And then again, we are going to be tracking another round for Thursday. But here's that hole in our chances of precip, and that's going to be taking place Friday and especially into the weekend. So let's talk about that first round of precip, where today we do have lots of cloud cover, but that does start to break apart this afternoon before rolling back in once again this evening. Going after midnight tonight is when those showers and snow showers move through, but we do expect temperatures to remain above freezing, and that's why we're not expecting any problems on the roads. Just going to be on the damp side for that morning commute on Wednesday, and then the afternoon welcomes back even more sunshine for us before that next round of rain moves through on Thursday. And we could still see some snow showers trying to mix in, but overall we're just expecting mostly rain on Thursday. But the good news is that the system is overall developing well south of us, which means that potential for localized flooding is going to stay well outside of the Mid Ohio Valley as that slides through. And once again, Friday and into Saturday, we do get to enjoy plenty of quiet weather. But today we will deal with some breezy conditions, expecting winds to increase this afternoon up to around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So as we hit those 30s, at times still going to feel like we're sitting in the 20s. And overnight tonight still should be above the freezing mark, looking at overnight lows down into the 30s. And for tomorrow, we welcome back those 50s, but it will still be breezy at times. Winds are around 15 to 20 miles per hour, but it is going to get quieter for the end of the week. And again, overhyping Saturday because it is going to be so nice. Lots of sunshine, getting into the 60s. It'll still be quiet on Sunday, just a little chillier there with highs in the upper 40s. And then we do have another chance of some more wintry precipitation heading into Monday. But also keep in mind, Sunday will be the first official day of March. Now, time to take a look at what's trending. Well, what fun stories do we have for this morning?
Yeah, we're gonna start off by heading over to Italy because the remains of Saint Francis of Assisi are on public display in Italy to mark 800 years since his death. On Saturday, the saint's skeleton was exhumed and the bones were put in place for a special prayer service. As the patron saint of animals and ecology, Francis is one of the most venerated figures in Roman Catholic history. And he's the man who inspired the name of the late Pope Francis because of his commitment to poverty, peace, and nature. The saint's remains will be on display at the Basilica and in Assisi until March 22nd with guided tours for visitors.
Gotta be honest, I bet it's cool.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to see a skeleton.
You don't?
No.
I think it's fun. You know, when I was growing up, we went to Rome. And we had my parents, because I went to Catholic school, had friends who were at the seminary in Rome. And we got to do a private tour of, now I can't think of what it's called.
You can't think of what it's called?
Where the Sistine Chapel is, where the Pope lives.
The Vatican.
Thank you. The Vatican. And I got to see part of some Pope's body. I can't remember which one. At some point, a Pope's body.
I don't know. It's not my vibe to see in a museum.
I think it's fun. There's like that really cool museum in New York, I think, that's full of like skulls and like weird medical abnormalities and stuff.
Nope.
I think it would be fun. I'd go to that.
I would not go to that either. That is going to be a hard no for me. Pass, I'll do whatever you want elsewhere, just not in there.
Okay, well, I guess we're not going on the trip, Henry.
Well, how about we take a trip up to upstate New York? Drivers had to move over because several cows wandered onto the interstate. Take a look at the scene in Blastel Monday afternoon. Authorities said 3 cows escaped from a livestock trailer that was disabled and parked on the shoulder of the thruway. Traffic flow was delayed as authorities worked to catch the animals. 2 of the cows were caught quickly, but one managed to zigzag in and out of the roadway. Eventually, all 3 were wrangled by their owner. State police said there were no injuries or accidents reported.
You know, that man chasing the cow looks like me chasing my dog yesterday. She escaped from the car and was running around my apartment parking lot and would not come when she was called. That's what I felt like.
I think that's the last thing New Yorkers needed to see yesterday.
They've been dealing with a lot.
Cold, cows, what more do you want?
I think if I saw that, if I just dealt with all the snow they got and a cow came in front of me on the roadway, I would just pull over and start crying.
I think I'd
just be done for.
Take the rest of the week off. You've been through enough.
Tapped out. But we do have some fun facts about our Daybreak Trivia question from this morning. So our question was, how many students were in the first graduating class of McDonald's Hamburger U? And the answer, 15 students. So, Hamburger U.
What is that?
It began as a small training seminar held within a McDonald's location in the early 1960s. But it's grown to become the gold standard of corporate training facilities, headquartered in a sprawling campus, yes, a campus like a college, outside of Chicago. You know, while many may snicker about graduates coming away with a Bachelor of Hamburgerology, there's a lot more to Hamburger U than just learning how to make the perfect Big Mac. It was founded in 1961 by Fred L. Turner, who was a former McDonald's fry cook who ascended the ranks to become McDonald's manager of operations.
So you learn how to make hamburgers.
You learn, but you also, it's like a business school. You learn how to
do things. So you learn how to probably operate a franchise associated with McDonald's?
That's how I understood it when I was reading into it. But I
Still
don't know.
a funny name for a college, Hamburger U.
Yeah. I took one business class in college, and
that was it?
That was it. It's not my cup
I
of
could
tea.
never operate a business.
I don't think I could either.
Give me a small loan and I'll find a way to bankrupt everybody in the span of 48 hours.
I'd be a personality hire. Like I'm a good front of house. I can bring the energy, but I don't think I'm really good at the behind the scenes stuff.
We'll bring the vibes and somebody else can handle the money.
We're just here to be funny, truly. But thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning for your morning brief. He's Henry Grof. I'm Emma Grace Myers, and we will see you again at the noon.